Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our EQ Nexus YouTube channel. Cass and I were just having a chat this morning around how tricky it becomes when you are trying to work out other people's emotions. Obviously, emotionally intelligent people try to read the emotions of others.
Well said, Heidi. We actually do. That's what we do when we try and be emotionally intelligent. We are trying to guess.
Yes.
What are you feeling?
Yes.
Wonder what's going on for you right now. Yeah.
Sometimes it's really hard to work it out, and with some people, it's even more difficult. And we spend so much time trying to work it out.
Yep.
So have you had a time recently where that's happened for you?
I think it shows up so much for me at the moment in my personal life.
Okay.
Probably not so much in my work life because I'm not dealing with a lot of, colleagues or people, but definitely in my personal life. And even if it is so my partner and you might get home and they're just a little bit weird or a little bit off. And then all of a sudden my brain starts going like, okay, what's he thinking? What's he feeling? What's happened? Is he annoyed? Have I done something? Do you know the story?
Yeah.
Start telling. And I'm like, that's a lot of energy within 2 minutes of getting home that I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And even though we practice emotional intelligence, I'm not always really good at saying what's going on for you. I actually will go into the guessing game and then I respond in my head to the guess.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, which is pretty risky, hey?
It's really risky.
Yeah.
And it is it does create that anxiety feeling, doesn't it, which we were talking about.
Yes, because it's the unknown. Yeah. Anxiety is provoked by not knowing.
Yeah.
You don't know what someone's thinking or feeling.
Yeah.
And you're trying to guess and you're trying to work it out. And even more complex when you use your emotional intelligence skills to go to the person and say, are you okay? Are you feeling okay at the moment? And they're still really resistant
to that question.
Be clear around how it is they're feeling, and therefore you're trying to guess how to respond in that moment.
Yeah.
It got me thinking a while ago I read this article and it was around, imagine if we were all like mood rings. You know those mood rings we used to have as kids? That's a bit of an indication of our age.
And for my son once, actually.
So you change colour depending on the mood that you're feeling.
Temperature of our body.
Temperature of our body. But imagine if when we did walk around there was some indication and how much differently we would respond to people if we actually knew and we didn't have to guess because it was right there in front of us.
I know. Like if you were yellow, I'd be like, oh, Heidi's really excited and happy. I'm going to jump in and do this. Or if you're walking around or, I don't know, purple.
Yes.
I'm relating to Inside Out characters. So when I say this colour, this is what my head's going, okay, what colour represents each emotion? But I'll be like, oh, Heidi's really, scared of something right now. How can I help you?
Yes.
Like, is there something I can do? So it makes you quickly know, doesn't it? But that's a really cool way of imagining. But unfortunately, we aren't like that.
Even the example of I need to go in and see my boss about some leave that I want to take.
Yes.
And we're really short-staffed at the moment. But if I can see that his colour is grey and is a bit stormy, I'd be able to go, now's not the best time to ask that question because I might not get the answer I want.
Yes. So that makes me curious, like what do we look for if we don't have colour? Like what are we looking for to kind of give us the guesswork in the first place? If I was to walk in, what is another cue if it's not a colour of emotion?
I think sometimes it's time. So we can go to a person and obviously ask that question. And the example I gave before, I actually did that this week where I could tell that I was just getting a bit of a vibe from someone.
A vibe. Yes.
Yeah, in my workplace. And it just wasn't, I could feel it, that emotional contagion. And I knew maybe, or I was guessing and telling myself a story that they weren't traveling well. And an emotional intelligence skill that I've practiced is I'm going to go check the story. If anyone's familiar with Brené Brown, you would hear she talks about the story we're telling ourselves. And then go check the story. So in this instance, I went to check the story. So that's a strategy I would still advocate for people
100%.
to use.
100%.
Yeah, and then clear is kind. So if you're on the other side of that and you're someone who does find it difficult to express your emotions, we do need to remember that being clear with people, even if it's difficult and something maybe they don't want to hear. Like I know my husband, he really doesn't like to hear when I am not in a great mood.
No, they
he
don't.
wants to fix it.
They want to fix, yeah.
He can't.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, he can sometimes find it really difficult to articulate how he's feeling.
He personally is feeling. Yeah.
So sometimes asking the question, then it's kind of encouraging the other person to tune in and tap in. Sometimes they mightn't have the words.
No, they absolutely don't. And I think that would be a blocker for me even. If I'm behaving or showing up in a weird way, I know that my partner is guessing how I'm feeling and he might go, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But I'm not. But I don't know what else to say sometimes. Sometimes I need more processing time to figure out what that is. So again, trying to practice that idea of, I don't know what it is right now, but I'm not feeling great. I need a bit more time and I'll let you know. Kind of, again, asking permission and seeking a little bit of that almost reassurance that it's okay to just take some time.
It's so hard, isn't it, though, in relationships? Like I know when I'm getting that vibe from my husband, like, I want to know now.
Yes.
Like, I want to know what's wrong now. I don't want to give you time. But I guess when you ask what would I do in that situation, I really have to pause and give time to that person. Maybe they need more processing time to work out how they're feeling.
Absolutely. And I think that's so key, because when we talk about the idea of wasting time whilst we're guessing, let's do something more productive with that time. And if that even is just practicing the patience to allow someone to experience what they need, then you'd rather not waste the energy of the story and the anxiety of guessing what that might be. Any other examples recently that you have?
Of times where I've needed to try to work out how someone's feeling? I think there's a lot of times where it's pretty obvious how people are feeling, and even if they are struggling to articulate that, we can probably name it ourselves. I think in the instance of children in particular, in both the work you and I do,
helping them
to name emotions is definitely.
And sometimes it might feel like a guess, but it's okay to throw out those guesses. Hey, is it this? Is it that? Like giving them something to kind of catch on to as well. And even in teams, so when we're working in teams, right, and this idea of constantly having to come together and do work together, it's really a time waster. If you're showing up to that team and you're going, I actually don't know what you're thinking or what you're feeling, and then you're guessing 4 or 5 people at once, what would you do in a team environment?
I really love emotions check-ins. I feel like even if it's not a specific emotion where people have to share exactly how they're feeling and why, the emotional
the escalator
that we use, just sort of on that scale of let's just beginning of a meeting, it's so important to actually give people the opportunity to place a dot on that thermometer or that escalator to say, I'm sitting here, and then we can have some empathy and understanding for each other. It's not an excuse. It's not by saying, I'm up here, so therefore I'm going to sit back.
I'm backing out of the workload. No, I think that needs to be set, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. But there is that level of understanding that maybe there's things going on that are making us feel a little bit more emotional or higher up the escalator.
Yeah, a bit more charged.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So whether it is like the escalator one, the window of tolerance one as well, like which end of that?
So many tools. Yeah. And they're all those tools we talk about in our workshops.
They are. Yeah. Yes, they are. Okay. So we wanted to leave that with you because I guess it's a little kind of touched on, I guess, how our tools can really help workplaces, parents, working with kids, whatever it might be, because we do spend a lot of time guessing what others are feeling. And emotional intelligence is a framework, and it's a constant practice that we can choose to then take out the guesswork.
Yeah.
Let's take it out and put the energy into something else that's way more productive and way more meaningful in our lives.
Yeah. And I think going back to the 2 key things we talked about we've talked about the emotions check-in, which I know is saturated and we talk about it over and over again, but it is super, super important.
Yeah.
But then also checking that story and giving time. So
check the story.
Check the story, go and check in with the person and ask the question, are you okay? How are you feeling?
Yeah. I've noticed that you're a bit quiet. I've noticed that the vibe's a bit off. Can you check the story because I'm a bit unsure of what I'm telling myself?
Yeah.
And clear is kind.
Clear is kind.
When you've been asked the question.
Yeah. And sometimes people need processing time.
Yeah.
They might not know what to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll list that out and hopefully, that helps.
Bye.